When I was staying with my mom and pop in Algoma, Wisconsin, where my father, Terrence Michael William Eugene Crowley, was working as an interim superintendent of schools. That is, not a janitor, but an administrator, head of schools. Because what happened was there was some kerfuffle with the prior school administrator, and they contacted my father, who was retired after working 40 plus years as a teacher, a grade school principal, and then superintendent, head of schools in many locations in America. And he was working there past retirement to help them out. And my grandfather Crowley was also a very helpful school administrator. He was a principal of schools in many places, including Deer Isle, Maine, and Hartford, Connecticut, Richmond, Maine, Caribou, Maine, Ashford, Maine. My grandfather, James Harold Crowley, was quiet, but when he walked into the auditorium, the students shut up. My mother and father told me a lot of stories about him, but I never met him because he died before I was born. Dad used to say Gorga, his mother-in-law, she of the many wrinkles, and his dad would sit around the table shucking oysters and sharing a beer. I used to go out to Macwahock and stay with my grandmother, Laura Pratt Crowley, and go down the road to watch her and her half-sister Tyra Joy play cards and Scrabble. Her nickname was Nummie. Her prior nickname was Blondie, and she was an amazing, intelligent woman who helped me out so many times in my life. I had a real connection with Nummie, and I still feel it to this day, how many twinkles in her eyes as she elbowed me. One day she came to Chicago and said, and my dad was like, we're gonna watch Charlie's Angels, and that was his favorite show at the time. She elbowed me and goes, Jennifer, should we take off our bras before we watch this show? And that was my grandmother Nummie, Laura June Pratt, born in 1906, in June, I believe. And I still remember her, and I think all of us people in our family remember her, and I miss her. I still have letters that she wrote me. I still have all the family records she gave me, and we exchanged books through the mail, and I sent her a large print book once because I knew her eyesight was failing, and she wrote back and said, I've already read it, but thanks for the sentiment. And she gave me so much help and intelligence and insight. I'll never forget her. And I hope none of you do as well.